Welcome to Kingdom Hearts Explained, the series where I take the lore and events from throughout the series and break them down for you. Today we'll be talking about a specific line that Roxas says during Shionne's death. So during Shionne's death, Roxas says a line that at first thought sounds very shallow and selfish, and very random as well as just generally out of place. However, when given context and proper explanation, it actually becomes one of the most heartbreaking and meaningful lines in the entire series.
No. Shionne. Who else will I have ice cream with?
In order to properly understand this line, we actually have to evaluate Roxas himself as a character, as well as Shionne as a character, and as Sora's nobodies. Roxas is the 13th member of Organization 13, directly above number 14, Shionne. Now, Roxas as well as Shionne are both special cases of nobodies. Roxas is very zombie-like and really doesn't have much of a personality at first, due to the fact that Sora was only a Heartless for a few minutes before he was prematurely brought back. This caused Roxas to not gain all of his somebody's memories, like in most cases. Without any of the memories of him being Sora, he didn't have any concept of anything like friendship or really anything, and that's why he didn't really have any personality when he first joined the organization. However, shortly after joining the organization, he does befriend both Axel as well as Shionne, and they teach Roxas what friendship is all about over the course of 358 days. As far as Shionne goes, she is part of Vexen's replica program, in which she was kind of doomed from the start to be nothing but a puppet, as she was created to siphon away all of Roxas' power. That way she could replace Roxas, because they were afraid of Roxas becoming self-aware at some point, and then they knew that if he did indeed do that, that he would end up destroying everything that they had built so far. However, with Shionne, just like with Repliku, Vexen's other replica, they knew that if Shionne became self-aware and tried to do the same thing, that they could easily reprogram her and more easily control her, as she is a puppet and not a proper nobody. The friction that all of this caused led the trio to ultimately go their separate ways, with Axel keeping a lot of information from Roxas, which to Roxas meant that Axel had betrayed him and they were no longer friends. Then 2 days later, on the 357th day, Shionne attacked Roxas, and Roxas ended up killing Shionne. When Shionne died, Roxas had nothing left. He had already lost Axel, and now his only friend was dying in his arms, and he didn't even remember or know how. Since Roxas didn't have any of his memories as Sora, therefore he didn't have any concepts of anything. His first experience with the concept of friendship was with Axel eating sea salt ice cream on the clock tower in Twilight Town. So, to Roxas, with his very childlike mindset, this was the very definition of friendship. So after losing both of his friends within the course of barely 2 days, he realized that he was all alone again, and that was what prompted the line. He wasn't really being selfish, he was just very terrified and sad that he had lost everything that he knew, and he could no longer eat ice cream like he wanted, and like he thought that all friends should do. The Japanese line is slightly different.
ダメだ。シオン。また3人でアイスを食べよう。
Instead of him saying, "Who else will I have ice cream with?" he actually says, "Come on, let's go eat ice cream together." The three of us obviously meaning Roxas, Shionne, and Axel. The line is slightly different, however I feel like the meaning behind it is still the same. In the Japanese version, Roxas is a little bit more in denial, as he's still trying to come to terms with realizing that Axel and Shionne are no longer his friends. However, in the English version, he's already kind of realized that he's lost everything, and I actually think that's why this line in the English version is a lot more heartbreaking than the line in the Japanese version. Even if the Japanese version, the Japanese line does sound a lot better, I feel like the English line actually not only is more meaningful, but I also feel like it fits Roxas' character. As I mentioned, he has a very childlike mindset. Since his concept of friendship was ice cream, I feel like the English line makes a lot more sense, but that's just my opinion. Overall, it doesn't really matter which line you prefer, because in the end, they kind of still mean pretty much the exact same thing. But with that being said, I do hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you in the next one, and I'll see you next time.